What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video. Firstly, I just want to say thank you to all the love you've shown on the video I put up the other day on the finale. The premiere was a lot of fun, and I want to break out one of the most interesting ideas that I had in that video, which was how the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 and really the entire show finale sets up the future of Agents of S.W.O.R.D. So if you're new, please do consider subscribing with notifications on and liking the video if you did enjoy it. Please also check out our growing Discord server in the description below, as really you can go there and chat about everything that's been in this video. But how the heck does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. set up Agents of S.W.O.R.D.? Now, during the endgame, sorry, I just couldn't resist doing that. Sorry, the end of the episode, we had our own time jump with the actual show jumping 1 year ahead, showing each of the team and how their lives have got on. So Coulson got his Lola back, Fitzsimmons retired and had a great time with their child, Daisy, Sousa and Cora are all in space together. Now that's interesting because she actually mentions that she's on the Zephyr 3 and they are touring space. She said how they have actually been referred to as space ambassadors, and they are now on the Zephyr 3, like I said. So there's been 2 more since the first one there in the show. And Daisy gets up from her chair with the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo on it, and they all look at a nebula in space, which could really be anywhere in the cosmos. I had a look at if this was a precedent, if this featured anywhere else in the MCU, but I couldn't find it. The closest I could see would maybe look like Nidavellir, but to be honest, it didn't. So let me know in the comments where you think this could actually be, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. And this could actually be the origins of S.W.O.R.D. S.W.O.R.D., if you didn't know, stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Department. It is actually an offshoot of S.H.I.E.L.D., headed up by Abigail Brand, and they're based on the Peak, a space station that is actually orbiting Earth. And really, it's an interesting one, but in the comics, S.W.O.R.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of started to split further as Nick Fury kind of disappeared. And I actually talked in my last video how the agents returned to the OG MCU Prime Timeline, as they actually returned to where they came from in time in the last episode. And in Season 5, they also did the same thing. So in Season 5, they returned to Earth after going to the future, went on, the whole of kind of Season 5 happened, Season 6 happened, and then the timeline split as Simmons and also Enoch try to actually work out how to save the world from the Chronicoms. Now, I am taking some liberties here, presuming each member of the team actually survived the snap. And yes, that does seem weird that they all survived, but we're just going to have to actually accept that. So now we're in 2020 and Daisy and the team are actually exploring space. So that's really, really cool. And we also had Mac looking very Nick Fury-esque as the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. So Daisy could actually be setting up the space arm of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now what is interesting is that this is in 2020 and we know that S.W.O.R.D. will actually exist in the MCU from leaked WandaVision set photos, as we actually saw Monica Rambeau on set leaving a S.W.O.R.D. facility. So this could actually be set up after Endgame. So we've had 5 years for S.W.O.R.D. to actually be set up. And considering the agents have actually fought Kree, Chronicoms and other major threats, such as intergalactic Inhumans who have been put on a planet on Mavath, well, it makes sense that they want to go to space to preempt any threats. And especially considering that Thanos, came from space with his Black Order to mess everything up. Well, in the blip, S.W.O.R.D. could have been set up, and this was existing to try and stop this ever happening again, just like S.H.I.E.L.D. were to stop threats, and the Avengers program was a precursor to this. And of course, Nick Fury could actually help build the Peak, the S.W.O.R.D. space station, with the help of the Skrulls, which is actually set up at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, as he was de-snapped during Endgame. Now, Chloe Bennett has even said that she wants to play Daisy Johnson as long as she actually can. She said that, "I don't feel like I'm done playing her. I feel there's more room in the Marvel Universe for Quake, so hopefully you'll see that happen." Now, what is even more interesting is that the pager that's given to Captain Marvel at the end of the actual Captain Marvel movie, and we see it during the post-credits scene of Avengers Infinity War, actually has the sword logo on it, which is on the reverse of the face we saw in the Infinity War post-credits scene. Now, what is even more interesting is that Danvers must know there was always a plan to introduce S.W.O.R.D. to the world, and a connection to S.W.O.R.D. has begun, as Monica Rambeau, Danvers' best friend's daughter, is working for S.W.O.R.D. And in the comics, she was even a version of Captain Marvel, so the setup of S.W.O.R.D. is getting even more fun. Now, the continuation of S.W.O.R.D. is rumoured to be in Captain Marvel 2, with Kamala Khan also being involved as a sidekick. It's rumoured that the movie will take place on a space station overrun by the Brood. The Brood are, of course, an X-Men villain, and Danvers' history is intertwined with the mutant, so she's well aware of the Brood, and it's even heavily rumoured that Rogue may make an appearance there. Of course, Carol Danvers and Rogue are not the best of friends. In the comics, the Peak was overrun by symbiotes and the Brood, so again, a precedent for the comics, and we know Marvel love to actually get their storylines from the comics. So what I'm predicting is that Fury's space station is actually overrun by the Brood. It's the one he's building for S.W.O.R.D., and Captain Marvel is roped in to help. But why? Well, there is Monica Rambeau, who can call in her mother's best friend as a favour, and what if Kamala Khan is already on there as she's an Inhuman? So there we have that connection between Daisy, Cora, and Kamala Khan, because Kamala is, of course, an Inhuman. So she could have been there and get involved. Yes, there is a gap in my theory, but what if the Inhuman storyline is sort of reset for the movies, with Daisy introducing the Inhumans to the rest of the wider MCU, and Kamala Khan somehow being involved with her as they are Inhumans, and of course Kamala is a fangirl of Captain Marvel, so there is that. Considering we have 3 to 4 years between the finale and the post-credit scene from Far From Home, it's quite logical that Daisy and the crew will lead and set up S.W.O.R.D., even if it is essentially a proto-S.W.O.R.D., so a sword without the name, and it's where Fury gets the idea from, and not the full-on one that the movies kind of would have. Of course, S.H.I.E.L.D. were also S.H.I.E.L.D. Light. They were sort of MCU Light throughout the 7 seasons, so there is a precedent there. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you want S.W.O.R.D. in the MCU, and do you want Daisy to be involved? If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe with notifications on, and drop a like if you enjoyed it as well. And that's it. I will see you tomorrow for a video on the movie Project Power, which I absolutely love. So I implore you, go and watch that movie and then check out my video tomorrow. And soon after this video is actually published, I will be doing a stream of the Avengers game on PC. So come and hang out with me there. And I'll see you soon, and goodbye.